Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Fellas Talk Sports. It's Wednesday. It's 7 o'clock. I'm with my fellas. My favorite time of the week, quite frankly. We'll chop up the week in sports. But what we're really going to do is spend some time breaking down the NBA playoffs, which has begun with the playing games yesterday. And so we'll spend some time on that. We might touch on the WNBA draft a little bit and do our closing comments. On that note, before we get started, let me talk about and say hello to the fellas. First of all, let me start with my ex-coworker, my really good friend now over all of these years, Mr. Houston, Texas, Mr. Vanderbilt University, Mr. Andrew Stevens. Good evening, Mr. Stevens. Thanks for joining us. You're a special guest, but you're almost like a regular now.
It seems that way. In whatever the status may be, it's good to chop it up with the fellas. Let's bring it on tonight.
All right, outstanding. And from Indianapolis, Indiana, even though he has ties to the Washington, D.C. area, he covers our Midwest region, and he defends it well, believe me. Ladies and gentlemen, David Burnett. Mr. Burnett, how are you doing? And again, you look awful dapper in that cap.
I'm trying to be as dapper as I can at this age of life. The window is still open of life. Indianapolis is sunny today, 61 degrees, and I'm trying to enjoy it.
Outstanding. Well, and the guy I probably have known the longest. He was, the best athlete in our neighborhood. I always talk about he was the best athlete, but he might have been the nicest guy in our neighborhood too. I've known him for, 60 years almost. Mr. Larry Abels, good evening. How are you, sir?
I appreciate the compliments. I don't know. That might say about our neighborhood being nice, though. I'm the nicest guy. We might be in trouble.
Well, okay, fellas, let's get into it. We're going to spend some time on the NBA, but before we do that, and maybe this is taking a little bit of a, host privilege. So I watched the Masters on Sunday. I enjoyed the tournament. It was outstanding. It was dramatic and all those things. If you guys want to comment on the Masters, that's fine. But here's my question to the group. And I'd love to get your thoughts on this. What would be, from a bucket list standpoint, what sporting event would you like to go to if you had a genie could approve, grant your wish to go to a sporting event on your bucket list? And I'll start with you, David. What event would that be?
Well, I'm going to take a little bit more time than you might like.
That's fine.
Because I've seen a couple of bucket list sporting events in lifetime. As you know, I'm a big fan of the Indianapolis 500, my most favorite sporting event. I've gone to 50 Indy 500s and will be there again this year. But I'd probably like to go to the Kentucky Derby, which is 120 miles away from me now.
Louisville.
And I still have never been. I covered the Preakness once when I was with Channel 5. But the Kentucky Derby would be something, sipping on a mint julep. One of my second favorite sporting event that I ever covered was on my birthday, my 31st birthday. Sugar Ray Leonard against marvelous Marvin Hagler live in Las Vegas. I was there in the outdoor stadium watching one of the greatest events of my time.
Outstanding. I dig it. I like it. So yours is the Kentucky Derby. If you get a genie that approve you tonight, that's where you'd like to end up, front row.
It would be secondary to the Indy 500, of course. Yeah, but I still would like to see it. I would love to see it.
But you've done the 500 many times. So.
And I will do it again.
Right. Andrew, how about yourself? Do you have a
Yeah, this
bucket list
might-
sporting event you'd like to attend?
Yeah, this might surprise you a little bit. If you asked me 10 years ago, it would have been Duke UNC, front row, courtside, what have you. And a part of me, if I were a millionaire and wanted to meet the ladies of Los Angeles, a Lakers game would not be unwelcome. Okay, to have a front row seat, but not to watch the basketball. But no, I'd love to go to Lambeau Field. I'd love to see a late game Packers-Bears game. It might be a little cold for what I prefer, but I just think that environment and that field, the history, it's just very unique in pro sports today. And the NFL is my favorite sport, and it's probably will be my favorite sport for the remaining years of my sporting interest. But I just think that would be unlike any other game and environment in any kind of football situation.
Wow, nice. Dig it. Wow. Mr. Abels, do you have an event you would like to, attend if your genie grant your wish?
I actually have two, if I may, and I'm glad you asked me to go last.
Okay.
I would probably say either the World Cup or the Olympics.
Okay, well, when you say Olympics, is there an event at the Olympics or the entire thing?
No, just like just the whole experience there.
Right. And when
Summer
you say World Cup,
Summer Olympics.
Huh?
The Summer Olympics.
The Summer Olympics. And when you said World Cup, is there a particular country or team you'd like to see? If
I would like for it to be in a nice place, but it's just the whole idea of the very best in the world competing, right. and that's really a real world champion coming out of that.
Yeah. Charles, my son, would say the same thing. He is a huge soccer fan, and he would say the same thing you just said. So that's interesting. Mine would be the Masters. I got to tell you, man, I would love on a beautiful Sunday to be able to I would have loved it more if Tiger was playing on a Sunday and I could follow Tiger for 18 holes. But just to be at the Masters, that thing looks like it is just one heck of an event. And they make you check your cell phones. You can't even bring them in there. And the food is reasonable and the place is pristine. And I just think I don't know. I would have really, I think I would really enjoy that. But anyway, enough of that.
Before we go further, we got to say something about Rory McIlroy. I mean, it was very dramatic. He almost choked multiple times. But to see him finally win and get all four now, it was something. I spent all of Saturday and all of Sunday, and I'm not even a golfer. I've never golfed, but I have watched golf for more than 50 years, and this was as dramatic as I've ever seen.
It was unbelievable. I thought Rory, because he's choked before, has not played well at Augusta before, but here on Sunday he gets to 18. Looks like he has his thing done, and he misses that putt. I'm going, oh my God! The whole place was like, what? And then to be able to regroup and go back to that tee, hit a perfect drive, hit a perfect second shot, make that putt for birdie to win it. I just thought it takes a lot of guts to be able to pull that off.
Oh, absolutely.
It was dramatic.
Absolutely.
He gave us some of everything because he has a reputation for choking. Now, I was at an event Sunday. I saw that he had a 4-stroke lead. I come home and it's tied. But I was like, here we go. Then he makes an incredible shot in
15.
He missed the eagle, but he got
shot he had on 15 Saturday and Sunday. Right.
I'm thinking it's good.
Right.
Then he gets on 18 and hits it into the sand. Then makes a great shot out of the sand and is lined up where I think a pro should be able to sink a putt, and then he missed it again.
That's what made the tournament. That's had he just won in a runaway, it'd have been okay. Rory's finally got it. But no, the fact that he is a potential choker at any given time, coupled with the fact that he's arguably one of the great golfers in our lifetime, it just made it just that much more interesting to me.
I thought it was going to be really the two of them, with DeChambeau and him on starting the match, and he had double bogeyed the first hole, and they were already tied after the first hole. I thought DeChambeau, I got caught up into the thinking that he was great and he was all of this and all of that. He was terrible that day. And
but he'll have his day.
Again,
Yeah, he won it last year, so
right. Well, he was terrible that day. So he said they asked him. He said, "So how was He asked him, how was Rory inside the ropes as you guys were walking?
You didn't talk to me.
He said, man, that dude didn't say one word to me.
It ain't a cocktail party, okay? I mean, come on.
I guess not.
There's stuff on the line here.
Right. All right. Enough of that. It was a great event. I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on the bucket list situation. So let's get into the NBA. Look, the play-in tournament started last night. We had 2 games. One game was kind of a stinker, which was the Atlanta and Orlando game. But that Golden State Memphis game, man, that was a heck of a game. And it looked like Golden State was going to pull away from Memphis. And then Memphis got back in the game, and then Ja went out for 7 or 8 minutes because he looked like he had twisted his ankle. And then it came down to the end with Steph and Butler making plays. So, Larry, what did you think of that game? And what do you think of Golden State's chances in general? I know they still have one. I know they are now in the tournament. But what do you think of their chances in the big picture?
Last night was a great game. I hated the way it ended. The team couldn't inbound the ball. I mean,
boy, couldn't throw the ball in bounds.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was back and forth. But the larger question about Golden State, I don't know. I was looking at the bracket. Well, I guess they did themselves a favor and got into the bracket with the number 2 seed,
Houston, right?
Yeah, which I'm not going to play Houston cheap or anything like that, but they avoided. I mean, otherwise they would have had to play even Oklahoma City, and then even Denver or the Clippers, which I think that other side of the bracket is really tough.
Right.
I think they'll do okay. I just can't see them. I don't know. They might be able to beat Houston. I have this thing about younger teams, even though I think Houston has better talent, but I have this thing about younger teams in close games. And, Golden State may be able to steal a couple of games. They actually probably stole last night's game.
Right. Hey, Andrew, did you have a chance to catch any of that game, or have you?
A little bit. I caught up with the 5-second call and all that stuff.
Right.
But my general sense is that I would favor Golden State over Houston. I do think Houston's youth, which in a way could be a strength because they'll have young legs and they got good depth and they play with a lot of energy. I think they could be, but I just think Golden State's they have too much experience and too much confidence. I don't think they're going to be the representative in the West. But I do like Golden State to upset, if you will, Houston in the series. I don't know if Vegas would view that as an upset, but it's going to be entertaining to watch.
So, David, Jimmy Butler had 38. Steph had 37. Draymond, I know he fouled out the game, but he did his part. My point is, their 2 stars played great. They closed the game out, and they still barely beat Memphis. What do you think they'll do, and what do you think of that game, if you have any thoughts about the game?
I didn't see much of the game. I've seen some of the highlights because I was asleep.
Yeah, it was
that
late.
game ended after
1
midnight.
o'clock. It was late.
But I'm just getting a little old. I think I'm the youngest person on this panel, though. But anyway, that said, I think Golden State is small, and I think Steph has got to hit everything. He's going to have to score 40 points a night. And Jimmy Butler, as hard as he plays, he just finds a way to get injured.
Yeah.
He's gonna play hard. He's a playoff proven commodity, but he has no championship. He hasn't won anything yet. I think the Rockets are going to win.
Wow.
I think the Rockets are going to win.
Well, hey Larry, one interesting thing about that game, I'd just like to get your thoughts on this. So Kuminga didn't even play in that game. He was DNP, coach's decision. Are you surprised at that?
I looked at him and the other guy that hasn't been playing a lot lately.
No.
There's a few players that I see now that I expect to play. When we talk about other teams, I can tell you, like the Lakers Connect. I thought he was a good player. He doesn't see the light of day anymore, So I guess coaches are kind of selling on, their lineups. But yeah, Kuminga, I thought was more of a player that would be leading the team into the future.
Yeah.
He doesn't even get off the bench.
Is he a victim of Jimmy Butler coming to the team and taking playoff minutes from him?
Maybe.
No, but David, probably to a certain extent, but he should be taking minutes from him. When we talk about, he didn't see any minutes. He's not even in rotation.
He might have cussed the coach out or something.
And David, Trace Jackson Davis, I know you're in Indianapolis and Trace is from Indy. Trace doesn't play at all for Indy.
Yeah, he's gone too.
Anymore. He doesn't get in the game at all either.
And that's too bad.
And they still seem to win. So I find it fascinating. I guess Kerr knows what he's doing, bless his heart.
Well, he's got 4 rings.
Yeah, he does. He does. All right, the second game, you guys, we can move on unless you guys want to have any comments about Atlanta and Orlando. Now, Orlando will play Boston. I guess that'll start on Sunday, perhaps. And Atlanta will play the winner of Chicago and
Miami.
Play Cleveland.
Miami tonight. So Chicago,
you're right.
tonight.
Yeah, they'll play the winner.
And then the winner plays Atlanta in Atlanta on Friday.
And that winner.
Any thoughts on either that game, Orlando and Atlanta last night, or tonight's game with Miami and Chicago? Do you have any thoughts on who might win that game?
I just want to jump in here and say, like, with the play-in game, when you've got a conference that's much weaker in the East, that is the West, these play-in games, not great teams, not great basketball. We shouldn't spend a whole lot of time on this part of the conversation.
Okay, I don't disagree.
I'm in the East.
I think the 9 and 10 teams in both conferences are kind of weak teams. You know, the East is certainly not as strong as the West, but I think after we get through the play-in stuff, we do have a few interesting matchups over there.
There are some interesting matchups for sure.
And I'm not sure if the champion will come out of the West.
That maybe is true as well.
Well, we're gonna get to that, and I'll also get to this point. I want to say it right out front. Those Indiana Pacers are an interesting team, David, and I'm telling you, I've been very impressed with them over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks.
I know it took a lot for you to bring that up.
It takes a lot.
It took a lot.
It
took a lot.
You've reached new heights. You're growing up.
Okay. So how about so we don't want to talk about. How about the on the West tonight? Sacramento, another team that's been playing really well, plays Chicago.
Dallas.
Who wins that game, Larry? That should be an interesting game. Of those
Sacramento's going to win. Sacramento's going to win.
They're going to win that game.
Yeah.
They got a lot of people. They got a lot of people on that team, Sacramento. I didn't realize with DeRozan and Levine and the Sabonis.
I love
the guy from Iowa. What's his Murray? They got a lot of players on that team.
Yeah, what's Malik? I can't think of his name. Another guard.
The shooter. They got a shooter on that team.
Malik Beasley. I think he's with Detroit now.
No, not Beasley. Monk.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, Malik Monk.
They got a lot of people who can score, and they've been playing better too, Sacramento. So that should be an interesting game.
Yeah, and Dallas, I think everyone in Dallas kind of wants things to be over, because if they go and just say play a number 1 seed, Oklahoma, they could be pretty embarrassing, and everyone is better off with them losing tonight.
In fairness to everybody slamming Dallas and the trade and really coming down hard on the general manager, if Kyrie, as much as I hate flat Earth, if he was healthy, the Mavericks would be pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, no doubt about
it. Let me pause right there.
No doubt about it.
I want to give David a high five for that. I don't know what's wrong with me and David tonight. I've just said that the Pacers have been great the last 5 or 6 weeks. He's just acknowledged the play of Mr. Kyrie Irving in a very positive way.
And I don't like him.
I know. Our therapists would be proud of us tonight.
They went to the finals last year. I don't know if you guys were watching basketball.
Yes, they did go to the finals. Well, I think they would be better with him. I think they'd be better.
Oh, yeah, he had a great season until he got hurt. He was having a great season.
And PJ Washington and Clay they haven't performed like I think they thought they would, because if they were performing with the size of Dallas, they could cause some problems too.
Clay is done. He's done.
God, he has a hard time getting a shot. He has a hard time getting a shot, and with Kyrie not drawing people away from him, he doesn't seem to shoot that well, even when he does get a shot.
Right. All right,
Yeah.
well, let's go down. Let's do this. Let's go down the list real quick, and we'll get y'all's thoughts on games that are coming up. So let's start with Oklahoma City. They'll play the winner of Memphis and or Sac Dallas. Okay, so OKC versus Memphis or Sac Dallas. Larry, who do you like in that series and why?
I'm going to like Oklahoma City over any of those teams, but from a competitive standpoint, I hope it's Memphis that they play.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how that works out. It's funny. I thought he was well behaved yesterday, so maybe he's got the memo. We'll see what happens. I didn't see any grenades and all that. So I didn't see none of that behavior yesterday. I know David loves that kind of behavior. David, any thoughts of the OKC Memphis and or Sac Dallas series?
It doesn't matter who they play. OKC is the best team in the West.
How about you, Andrew? Any thoughts on that series?
Yeah, OKC is going to win the first round. I have concerns about them winning the whole thing, but I think they're going to win the first round and likely be the Western Conference representative.
All right, the next one would be the Nuggets. The first series, and this will start, I guess, on Sunday too, is Nuggets Clippers, or starts soon. Nuggets Clippers. Wow. First of all, the Clippers are playing a lot better. I saw them handle Golden State on Sunday in a really big game for the two teams. And with Harden playing really well and Kawhi, oh my God, he looks like Kawhi of old. And they get this guy Powell. I tell you, we got to keep an eye on that.
Zubac is good too.
And Zubac too. He's up for Defensive Player of the Year
and Most Improved Player of the Year.
And I also think Ty Lue is a good coach. I've always said that. But
he's a great playoff coach. He really is one of the best.
Who wins that series? Nuggets, Clippers. Larry.
I'm going to go with the Clippers. The reason is I think the Nuggets seem to be in disarray. I don't know why they fired their coach, but that's the series. That one, along with one in the East that I'll mention later, is a series I can't wait to see. Right. I'm looking for 7 games, but everyone playing healthy. I think right now, I got to go with the Clippers. Close game, but I'm going to go with the Clippers.
How about you, Andrew?
Clippers, yeah, I like the Clippers. The Clippers have won 18 out of 21. It's a pretty incredible way to close the season. And
what's up, Greg?
Hey, Greg. I do think the Nuggets. Yeah, I mean, the firing the coach. They've won some games since he was fired, and that may be short term, but long term, I think there's a lot of dissension and a lot of toxic stuff that just doesn't go away when you fire the most toxic guy in the room. There's a bunch of stuff that's not really working there culturally that they need to clean some stuff up and straighten it out in the offseason.
They could band together, though. The fact that he's gone and all the team didn't like him as a team, maybe that helps them. I don't know. To me,
they won 4 in a row since he's left. So
yeah, they played better.
Yeah. To me, that team is always, for me, it's how Jamal Murray plays. If he plays like he does when the Lakers in the series in the playoffs, they're a really good team. If he doesn't, I don't know. David, what do you think of that Nuggets Clippers series?
Let me just say this. Nuggets have the best player in the world.
They do.
But they are in disarray. And Kawhi Leonard, my goodness, he looks like he's shed 10 years off of his game. He looks rejuvenated, revitalized. He's moving smoothly, bouncing around. I like this Kawhi Leonard. Uninjured Kawhi Leonard looks good. And they have a great coach. Clippers over the Nuggets, 4-2.
Wow. Nice. Everybody's for the Clippers. All right. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, then the next so then we'll play it all the way out. Okay. So let's say that we'll get to that. All right. Then the next series is the Lakers and the Timberwolves. Ouch. I love the Lakers. I'm worried. I'm a little nervous about that Timberwolves team because that's another team that's playing really well. They seem to be healthy. Anthony, what's his name, is playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Edwards. And Larry, who wins that series? Lakers, Timberwolves.
I'm thinking the Lakers are going to win that. The Timberwolves have been playing well lately, but so have the Lakers. And the Lakers are starting to find their rhythm. You know, it seems like they've adjusted with having Luka in the lineup. And they're in a good bracket for them. on that side. I think they can make a little noise in the playoffs.
If they get past Minnesota, I mean, I think that Minnesota's big, and that's the Lakers' bugaboo. They don't really have a ton of size, but I hope you're right. By the way, Andrew, what do you think of that Minnesota? Lakers
Yeah, I like the Lakers too. I mean, it's pretty passe to say, but just the star power and half court game of Luka in the playoffs is really good, and he's got someone like LeBron who's got experience, knows how to push things over the edge. LeBron can make big plays any part of the court. He won't do it, all night long, but he can come up in a key moment and make a differentiating play. I think the Lakers lack strong defensive stoppers, and their team defense isn't that great. But I think they're going to win a series or two, and they're going to be dangerous. I mean, getting Luka out is not that easy, and with LeBron and him together, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and Reeves is playing well too. Hey, Michael Van, thanks for joining us, and I agree with you about the Edwards point. And Greg, I just said the point about Jamal Murray. I think that's how Denver goes. If Jamal plays well, Denver will have a shot because we know Joker's going to do his thing. So, David, yeah, Michael V joining us this evening. David, I know how much you love the Lakers. How do you think the Lakers will do against the Timberwolves?
I think the Lakers are going to win that series because the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards is a great talent, but he's spotty. He's streaky. He will play well. He'll be spectacular. But, the center, defensive player of the year, every year it seems. But in the playoffs, he's a zero. And what's the brother that came over from the Knicks?
Julius
Randle. Randle is a zero in the playoffs too. I see this as 4-1.
Wow.
I think Edwards will play well. I kind of disagree with my friend Van. I think he's been playing well this year and up this game, but they missed Cat. I think if they still had Cat as opposed to Julius Randle, who's okay, but I think they missed Cat on their team.
They get a second person. They get DiVincenzo too, and he's a good playoff player as well.
Yeah,
good shooter.
He's a good shooter. That Minnesota team scares me, but I hope all of you guys are right with the Lakers.
I think the Lakers winning.
All right, so that's the West. Let's extrapolate it out. You guys liked OKC to the next level. You like them against the Clippers. Who wins the series between? And I know we'll revisit this later, but who wins the OKC Clipper series? Andrew?
OKC.
Okay, I like OKC. I like as good as the Clippers have been. I do think OKC's they're a pretty good matchup, and they're gonna get to either the Western Conference Finals or the Finals.
Larry, OKC Clippers.
That's a tough one for me, but because again, like I stated earlier, I like more experienced teams. Now, the OKC is the second youngest team to actually win the division. So they surpassed the youngest team, which was themselves last year. They got a little more playoff experience. They advanced one round, but they lost to Dallas. Now I have to see if they can pull themselves together. They're still relatively young, but they seem to have been playing together for about 3 years. So I'm going to flip a coin and say I think they'll take the Clippers in 7 games. But it won't be easy.
Two things, though, too. Last year, they didn't have Chet. I think Chet might have been out the whole year last year. And they picked up that guy, Haberstein. So they got more size this year than they had in the past. Not only did they win 68 games, but their margin of victory was, I think this might have been the largest margin of victory in NBA history or something crazy like that.
They've been blowing people out, like so many 20-point victories or something.
Another thing about the 68 victories, only 6 teams in NBA history have won
ever won that many games.
6 teams. 4 of them won the NBA championship, 4 of those 6, and the 5th one went to the finals. So that 68 wins is not nothing.
No, I don't disagree.
If Oklahoma City was located in New York City, we would be kissing their ass. And I mean, first of all, there is small market bias in observing OKC. They're the best team in the NBA this year by record. As Andrew said, 68 wins didn't come by accident. they're going to easily move on. Easily.
Okay. All right. I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
but I think most people that watch basketball have respect for them.
No
A
doubt.
lot will be matchups, and I think what's the guy Jay Williams has played. His game has increased and everything. I could care less where they are. They have a good team, but
they're a year older.
But you're a knowledgeable guy, Larry.
But the
Not everybody's
but
knowledgeable.
I mentioned a big city team, not because they're in Los Angeles, because I normally wouldn't see them there. Those Clippers, they have some good players on their team that
They're
are
going
experienced.
down. They have James Harden who fades in key moments.
Well, I'm more thinking about if Kawhi Leonard can stay healthy.
Yeah. But let me say this about the nature of the game that the Thunder play. One is they're probably the deepest team in the playoffs, deepest team in the league. It has been said that if you took the starting five off that team, they're still a playoff team. And the other thing is, so when I say they're deep, that makes them less prone to an upset. If one of your guys is not playing well, or the other team has found a tough matchup for, they've got options, many options. The other thing is they play the best defense in the league, and it's ferocious. And when you're not shooting or your offense is off, or your team's good defense will always snap you out of that. So they've got kind of an upset buster type of mindset with the depth and that great defense that helps teams that are on the wrong track avoid getting upset.
I think they're a lot like Boston, which they have so many players that are interchangeable and they can switch. They could all guard the perimeter. The only thing that worries me a little bit is their size. Now they did get Hartenstein, certainly helped them there. They got rid of the guy, Giddey, who was probably their weakest defensive player. But even though he's playing great in Chicago,
He is.
And like you said, the big guy came back.
Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, he came back. So that's that's really good. And I've been on them. I liked them the whole time. But that experience just scares me a little bit, or lack thereof.
100%. And we saw Dallas knock them out last year, right? So 4 games to 2 or something like that. So, but they're a year older. They're bigger. We'll see. That's the interesting part. We'll see if that 68 games does follow history, as David says. All right, how about the Lakers? Okay, so if you guys are picking OKC, you guys also pick the Lakers. If the Lakers play OKC in the finals of the West, who comes out the West?
Oh, I think OKC beats them.
Okay.
I think Golden State or the Lakers are going to be on one bracket, and the Thunder on the other. And I do like the Thunder to beat either one of those teams, but those are the two options outside of the Thunder. I don't see any team outside of those 3 representing the West.
And how about you, David? Do you like OKC coming out of the West?
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right. I'm be the only guy on the other side of that because I like the Lakers coming out.
We know that.
You knew that was coming.
We knew that.
You knew
that. The Lakers' real problem is on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And they're not really a small team. A lot of people say they don't have a lot of size. And they have size on the perimeter, but their guys on the perimeter are kind of slow. Or, LeBron's 40 years old.
LeBron's not a great one-on-one defender anymore. Right?
Yeah, that's really what's going to hurt them. Unless they can just outscore everybody. They have great players.
If LeBron is healthy, and to me that's the only question mark I have here, because he got hurt in the game the other day when they played Houston or somebody. His groin looked like it aggravated again. If he's healthy, and the way Luka has been playing, the way Reeves has played, and then all these role players like Rui and Jocks, the big 7-footer, they got some, and nobody can close games like Luka and LeBron. We all know that with 5 or 6 minutes to go.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander can.
Well, we'll see how much
he's leading the NBA in scoring.
Hold on a minute. How many rings or how many championship series has he been in?
Well,
oh my God,
he's a young man.
Oh my God,
he's a young man.
It's not irrelevant.
Could he finish games? He can finish games.
Well, regular season
watch him play.
Because last I saw him in the playoffs last year, he was getting bounced.
Charles, it's too early to talk trash. Okay.
You ask could he finish games? If you watch him play basketball, you know he can finish games.
Okay.
He can. If it's a close game down the stretch and you're a Laker fan, you don't want him to have the ball in his hand.
Well, we have a guy too, right?
Oh,
We
just
got two
stop.
of them.
Charles, just lay off.
All right. I'll move on.
Come on.
Okay, let's get to the East. So the Cavs will play the winner of Miami and Chicago. In Atlanta. So let's assume the Cavs, whoever they play of those three, Miami, Chicago, or Atlanta, do the Cavs advance?
Yeah.
Easy.
Andrew?
Yeah, Charles, I don't mean to preempt things here, but I do think Cleveland and Boston are very, very likely, and I kind of think we all agree. But you guys, let me know. They're going to be in the
Right,
Eastern.
yeah, hold on, Larry.
We
Hold on, Andrew. We'll let you monitor.
Okay, I want David to speak up. I didn't mean to
Right.
pass charge things. But
We're gonna move.
Indiana's got a shot. I would like to hear the argument. Let's go.
We're gonna do
All
step
right.
by step. All right.
The Knicks ain't doing nothing.
Okay. So Cavs move on, correct, against the first round, right? Do we all agree, Andrew?
Yes.
Yes.
David, Larry.
Yes.
Okay. So then the Pacers play the Milwaukee Bucks. Holy smokes, what a series.
No, it won't be
I'll
that.
start-
It won't
I'm
be
gonna
that
get
hard.
to you. I'm going to get to you last, David. Larry, who wins that series? The Bucks and the Pacers. And I tell you, the Pacers are playing well.
Well, I think it would be a close series regardless, but with Damian Lillard not playing,
Yeah.
I gotta like the Pacers' chances a lot more there. I think they would give them. I think that would be a great series anyway. That's the other series I'm really looking forward to seeing anyway. And I wish Lillard was there because I think that would be very competitive. But no, I have to go with Indiana.
Yeah. Andrew.
Yeah.
And by the way, Larry, they said Dame will not be back. So there was some outside chance that he would, but the other day they said he won't be back.
He's got a blood clot.
Yeah.
I think Indiana's got this, and Milwaukee's got to change some things. That's been, I think, pretty clear all year. So I like Indiana quite a
They
bit.
still
But
got Giannis and Kuz. They still got some people though on that team. Porter's got back.
Kuzma will have to step up big time.
Right. But you like the Pacers. Mr. Burnett, I wonder who you like in that series.
Let me just put it this way. Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of the great players in the history of the NBA.
Agreed.
He is an X factor. If he scores 40 points every game, the Pacers could be in trouble. But he will need to score 40 points, 15, 16 rebounds, and 11 assists for them to beat the Pacers. And he's not going to do that. He's going to score about 30, 10, and 10. And that's not going to be enough.
Pacers
And
have
they
such
needed-
a good team.
The Pacers have 10, they go 10 deep.
Good grief.
And they can guard the perimeter too.
Oh,
They're just a strong team. You know, everybody wants to forget the fact they were in the Eastern Finals last year. Yes, there were injuries that helped them out, but they got there. And that was the first year that they really gelled as a team. It matters. They have a pretty good coach in Rick Carlisle. I think he's going to have them primed. I see them beating Milwaukee 4-2. Yeah, Milwaukee's going to get a couple of games because the Pacers are going to let down, and Halliburton is going to let down a game or two. But there are other players who will rise to the occasion. I see the Pacers beating the Bucks 4-2.
I saw a game between the Pacers and Cleveland didn't play their starters that game. It was as entertaining a game as I've seen all year. The Pacers pulled it out, but I'm telling you, both teams, it was body shots after body shots. It was one hell of an entertaining ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And that kid, the big kid that you guys have on that team, what's the center name? He can shoot the threes too.
Miles
Miles
Turner.
Oh my goodness, he's a little more underrated than I think people give him credit.
Well, it's because he hasn't always delivered. He's always had the potential to be great, to be very good. But this is his 9th season in the league. Believe it or not, 9 seasons. He's always occasionally injured, and that's been a problem. But he's been relatively healthy this season. He's been motivated. He gets the ball in the pick and roll, and he blocks shots when necessary. And he can make threes.
Yes, it's tough.
Yeah.
All right, how about the new kids on the block? Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks. Another interesting matchup. Larry, who wins that series?
Back to my youthful my bias against younger teams. I really think Detroit could beat the Knicks, but I think they won't because I think they'll make mistakes because of their youth. Cunningham is probably going to be the best player on the court when those teams play,
He's
and that's
had a
going
hell
to
of a
cause
year.
New York problems.
Yeah, Cade Cunningham's had a hell of a year. Who wins that series, Andrew? Cleveland? The Knicks and the Pistons.
Yeah, I don't have high hopes for the Knicks this year. I think they're going to win this first round series. I think they're a good half court team. I think Brunson in particular is a great half court offensive player. But I think Thibodeau pushes them too hard. He's sort of like a Malone type coach. A lot of these coaches in the NBA, Thibodeau's been this everywhere he's been. He has a shelf life, and they get better real fast, and then they kind of plateau, and then the players start tuning them out. We're near that stage in New York. He's done a good job, but he's not the person who's going to get them to a finals or even, I don't think, an Eastern Conference Finals this year. I just think he's a good coach, but help. He's good to push young players, but once the team's ready to take the next step, he's not the right guy.
I agree with you 100%. If they don't beat Detroit, Andrew, I think he'll be fired. That's a great point you just made. David, who wins that series between the Knicks and Pistons?
Knicks win 4-3, 7-game series. Pistons will give them hell. But I would agree with the rest of you guys in terms of the inexperience. Detroit won 14 games last season.
Good point.
They've won 30 more games this year. They are an emerging team. It's not yet their time. The Knicks are going to fade. Knicks are just not that good. They're going to win. They won 52, 53 games this year.
Third in the East, right?
But there's just some problems. And
Right.
Thibodeau, I like Thibodeau. I like that he holds players accountable, but he does burn them out.
Yeah, he doesn't use the bench. The biggest problem is that they don't go deep enough on their bench, but that's neither here nor there. Celtics
I don't really have a problem with him. I just think the Knicks are just not that good.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think I think you can put anybody in there as a coach.
Yeah.
He's probably getting as much out of them as anybody else can get.
Celtics, Orlando. Do we even have to?
Don't even.
Not so fast, my friend.
Okay, David, what do you think? Can
Four
Orlando
4-2. First of all, let's never forget Boston shoots the highest rate of three-pointers in the history of the NBA. They have to hit the three-pointers. If they hit the three-pointers, they win easy.
Right.
But it's, there's shakiness in the playoffs from the Celtics. They're going to struggle. They're going to win it 4-2.
Okay.
The Magic have some players. They don't have experience, but they have some talent. And they're going to give Boston the necessary scare that Boston needs.
And Larry, who wins that series, Boston or Orlando?
Orlando will win one game. That's it.
And Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, Boston's got it. Orlando may win a game, but it won't matter. It's going to be pretty easy overall.
Okay. Cavs, Pacers. Who wins that series?
I'm going to go with the Cavs in 7 games.
David?
Pacers in 7.
And Andrew?
I like the Cavs.
That's going to be a good series, too.
That will be a good series.
Because, quite frankly, the Cavs won 64 games, too, this year. I mean, they've had a hell of a year as well. So
Not 68.
Nothing.
Nothing.
They won 64 games.
I know.
No.
I agree with you.
I was just saying it's not 68, so be cool.
Oh, okay. So who wins the Knicks Celtics series?
Boston.
The Celtics.
All right. David?
Knicks, Celtics. Celtics.
Okay.
Easy.
So let's get to the big one. Celtics, Pacers, David. I'll get to you two in a minute. Celtics, Pacers, David. Who wins that series?
Celtics win 4-3.
I like that, David. You took the emotion out of it.
Well, look, I'm a homer. I love my Pacers. I'm all the way back to 1967 when the Pacers were founded. Nobody else can say that. I was radio down, TV down, in the Fairgrounds Coliseum where they used to play down. The Pacers are my team.
Okay.
But
Andrew,
if they're not good enough yet.
right. Andrew, Boston, and in your case, Boston, Cleveland, who wins that series?
Yeah, good question. I think Boston's going to win. I think they're going to win easily. I think they will win in 6 games or less.
And Larry, Boston, Cleveland.
I think Boston in 6.
All right. So here we go. Boston, looks like Boston will be the representative from the East. It looks like OKC and you guys, in y'all's case, OKC and Boston. Here we go. NBA Finals, Boston and OKC. I'll start with you, David. Who wins that series?
I'm praying that it would be Oklahoma City because the NBA needs that. But Boston, it depends on their 3-pointers.
Yeah.
They have such a variety of good players. If all the guys stay healthy, they've won a championship. They're going to be hard to beat. But Oklahoma City, I want them to win. But either team winning, I'd be happy.
Andrew, Boston, OKC.
Yeah, I like Boston. I mean, as much as I love OKC, I think Boston's saving stuff. They're saving stuff up in the tank. They've done it all season. I don't think they've really hit the gas pedal quite yet. And I just think, this team went to the Olympics last year, played a long playoffs. They're tired, okay, and they know it. And the coach is sort of saying, "Let's host a couple series. We'll win some games on the road in the finals. They're going to be ready, and they're going to be probably the best team in the league, and we'll see in the playoffs. But I wouldn't think anyone else in Boston."
I'm surprised at your answer, but I like it. Larry, let me let you break the tie. Boston, OKC.
Well, okay, I'm gonna get there roundabout way. OKC reminds me of Boston, the way their team is put together with a lot of players that can play defense, play offense, switch on the perimeter. Boston's a little more mature. I've been sticking with the theme that I like to go with the more mature teams. One thing, I don't think Jaylen Brown's 100%. And if he's not, OKC will win that series.
That's who you're going with, OKC?
Yeah. I'm not sure how he's been kind of limping around for a while. So, and of course, that could change. He's had a week off. He'll have a week off. So,
right.
And also, as of what I know now, I'll say OKC.
Also, the playoffs take a couple months, right? Like, we're talking to finals. It'll be like in June, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be a while from now. Well, he could get worse in that time, or maybe get better.
All right. Well, I got you guys down. We 2 of you guys like OKC, and David, you like Boston, and or no, David, you like OKC.
I want OKC to win, but
Andrew likes Boston.
I like Boston.
Yeah.
They both picked Boston, I think, Chuck.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm picking Boston.
Yeah,
but I want OKC to win.
Same here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right.
Okay, real quick. League, and this is a good one. You guys can share your thoughts. League MVP, Larry.
I think it's going to, certainly going to come down to 2 players. But it's one player that's not getting any consideration, who's averaging 34 points and shooting over 60%, and that's Giannis. But his name is not even mentioned. That's a phenomenal number. And he's not somebody that shoots 3 times a game because he's averaging 34 points. I think SGA is going to win it this year, though.
David?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will win the MVP, even though I think the Joker is the best player in the world.
That's exactly how I'd say it. Joker is the best player in the year in and year out, but he missed a couple games. The Nuggets didn't have as good a year as the Thunder.
Yeah.
There is some bias to someone who's won it like 3 times before. It may not be fair, but when you consider all those variables, I think SGA deserves the award, or at least he'll get it.
Absolutely.
I think SGA got off to a faster start, and I think he's outscored the next closest person by like 300 points too. I mean, he hasn't let down any. Joker certainly has played better toward the end of the year, but I still say don't forget about Giannis. Nobody talks about him. When I saw that,
come on, guys. She's a center that averaged a triple-double. He's only the 5th guy in the history.
That's great. That's
from
great,
the center position. Okay.
But you got another guy that's averaging 34 points and shooting over 60% from the field. That's even Joker's shooting 50 something. He's not bad. But I mean, I think that's phenomenal for Giannis to do that.
I think if Giannis was leading Milwaukee with 60 wins, he would be in the conversation.
Yeah, that's probably it.
It would be different.
And he's a good defensive player.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
He is.
He's a great player.
That's where he's better than Joker on that end of the court.
All right. Is there anything else? We'll keep it moving. Is there anything else about the NBA we want to comment on? As
Coach of the year.
Say that again.
It's unanimous, in my opinion.
On the MVP.
MVP, no, nothing
No,
more.
what's unanimous? What's unanimous?
Say Coach of the year.
Oh, Coach of the Year. Okay, let's do that. Coach of the Year, David.
JB Bickerstaff by a mile. By a mile. He has to be Coach of the Year.
I don't know. Okay.
When you take a team that won 14 games a season ago and you win 30 more games and make the playoffs, no, he has to be Coach of the Year.
Houston's coach has done a great job too.
Well,
with a very young team.
yes, he has, but he didn't do the turnaround that Detroit has, and I think that there's a bias toward a remarkable turnaround. And Bickerstaff was kicked out of Cleveland. There's going to be sympathy votes for him. He wins easily Coach of the Year.
Okay, I do have a differing opinion. I think Kenny Atkinson's going to win Coach of the Year.
Cleveland. You know what? I'm surprised at this.
With Bickerstaff's team.
Right.
What I'm surprised is you guys don't think that the Oklahoma City coach.
Well, he's another one. He
won it last year, Charles. He won it last year. He had an awesome year. And I mean, I do think the Rockets and the Pistons coaches did more to improve their team with their coaching job. But yeah, I think Atkinson's taken Cleveland to another level. And I think Atkinson's gotten a raw deal in this league before. And maybe Bickerstaff has too. I won't take that away from him. But I think Atkinson's, according to the Vegas odds, he is the favorite to win.
Wow. All right. So again, real quick, David, you think it should be the Detroit coach?
Bickerstaff.
Wins. Andrew, you think it should be the Houston coach?
No, I think Kenny Atkinson is going to get it.
I went with Houston's coach.
And Larry,
I wouldn't have a problem with Bickerstaff.
And Larry, who do you think is going to win it?
Houston's coach is who I'm picking. I don't think he's going to win. That's just my vote.
Right. Okay, good. Wow, there were some differences of opinions there. That's good. All right, real quick, anything you guys want to talk about in terms of the WNBA draft? Any comments? Any quick observations?
I have an observation.
Okay, David, go.
Paige Becker's great player.
She went number one.
She went number one. I watched much of the WNBA draft. It was interesting, but the unspoken is the money. The fact that these women are paid next to nothing, relatively speaking, is still an albatross around the neck of the WNBA. These women have to be paid more, and it's a disgrace. Paige Becker signed for $350,000 a year for that 3-on-3 league, and she's going to make $80,000 with the WNBA by salary. Now, of course, she's going to make advertising money, sponsor money, of course, but that's not the money that the WNBA needs to be shelling out. The Indiana Fever are going to be on TV every single night, national TV every single night that they play. They're selling out. They made more money than any team. They can pay players. Well,
just factually speaking, David, the WNBA has lost money every year it's been in existence.
Well, the unrivaled, the 3-on-3 league has done nothing, and they still found a way to pay the players. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Teams historically have paid players. All kind of leagues have paid players when they weren't making money.
I hope their trajectory of the paying of the players is on an uptick. That's got to be, right? I mean, they're signing.
Well, they got to start making decent money.
Right.
It's a shame.
It is hard to believe that Paige Becker is going to make less than $100,000 a year.
If you make more money at the University of Iowa than you can make for the Indiana Fever, it's a damn shame.
That does sound interesting. Larry, any comments about now Washington Mystics? They got 3 of the first 5 or 6 picks in the draft. Anything about the draft you want to?
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with the players, but I'm hoping they'll fit in and have a pretty decent team here. I follow the Mystics pretty closely.
Right.
I just didn't know those players.
Greg likes XGA for the MVP, huh? Good. It seems pretty obvious, I guess. Andrew, anything about the WNBA draft that you want to comment about? Anything that caught your attention?
Yeah, there's one player who wasn't drafted, and there's a lot of stories about this particular player. I think she played for 4 different colleges. She's a center, dominant center, named is Sedona Prince. I don't know, guys, if you know Sedona. She's had some controversy. She's been accused of assault in several situations.
Oh, she's
big. She's big. She's real tall, real good. I think she's going to find a way in the league, but I think the WNBA is very marketing aware, and I think that's why she didn't get drafted. But I think we should keep an eye on her because I think if she gets a chance, she can play and could be a dominant player in that league.
Yeah. The only thing that caught my attention, one of the games I saw in the tournament was Maryland played Alabama, and they had this girl Sarah
Barker.
She had 45 points.
Jay Barker's daughter.
Yeah, she had 45 points in that game. She was unbelievable from 3 all over the place, and she only went 9th in the draft, and I thought that was a little surprising. But I don't know the rest of the girls as well as maybe some of you guys do. But I do know Paige as a player. She went to Dallas, so we'll see how that goes. All right, well, we're getting close to the end. Does anyone have any closing? No, let me ask you this question real before we get to closing comments. NFL draft. I just want one answer, and we'll go quickly around to David. Where do you think Shedeur will be drafted? Like, what number do you think Shedeur will be? Not who he'll go to, but what number do you think Shedeur will be drafted?
I don't know what number. I think 3 is probably, there's too much controversy surrounding the 3rd pick. I think they're going to pick his teammate if his teammate doesn't go number 2. I think he's going to end. Well, I got to pick a team. I think somehow the Pittsburgh Steelers will find a way to pick Shedeur Sanders.
And that right now, that's 21st. So it'll be interesting to see if
I think they're going to trade up. They're going to trade up.
They might not have to, if you know what I'm saying. But good. Andrew, where do you think Shedeur will get drafted?
Yeah, assuming no trades, I think he's going to get drafted at number 9 by the Saints. I think the Darren Carr injury enhanced that probability quite a bit. But is it Darren Carr, I may have it wrong, David. I don't know. But I do think there's about a 40 to 50% chance the Giants or the Steelers or someone are going to talk to Carolina at number 8 and make a deal. But I think he's going to get drafted in that particular area.
Larry, any thoughts on when do you think Shedeur will be drafted?
Well, I tend to agree with Andrew. I think the Saints will get him, but I still think it's an outside chance that the Giants might. They pick 2 quarterbacks. They've signed 2 quarterbacks, but I think their coach and GM are like on a hot seat, and they may not have a long time to work. And Sanders might provide them with that boost of energy that they want there.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they picked him.
So much chatter about old Sanders. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him. And I guess that's next Thursday is the draft, a week from tomorrow. So we'll see what happens.
Lambeau Field.
You're right. Green Bay. All right. Closing comments. I'll start with you, Larry. Do you have any?
I don't have any this week.
Mr. Andrew Stevens, do you have a closing comment?
I'm all closed out.
Andrew, you look good tonight, too.
I'm trying so hard.
My goodness. You look good
Put on my
tonight.
T-shirt.
And by the way, David, Andrew is a lot younger than the rest of us.
Not really.
You made that comment earlier. I just want you to know.
Metaphysically, I'm an old man. Come on.
Metaphysically. There you go. David, any closing comments?
I do have a closing comment, and I'm going to read it and try to do the best I can by it. 42 Day was held again yesterday.
Yep.
It's the day when all baseball players wear the number 42, recognizing the late Hall of Famer and legend Jackie Robinson, who in 1947 became baseball's first African-American player. At a time when this country is battling diversity and diversity is being assaulted in multiple corners, it's a blessing to see that Major League Baseball did not fall prey to the small-minded and sad attempt to erase history and minimize the struggle for equality and inclusion. Long live 42 Day. Long live diversity.
Well said, David. Well said. Jackie Roosevelt Robinson. His incredible bride, Miss Rachel, is still alive at 103 years old. So good comments. Great comments. Mine is real quick. They're date related. Today is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's birthday. He was my first GOAT. He obviously won 3 championships in college. He won 6 in the NBA. He was the all-time leading point getter until LeBron broke that record. I love me some Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Smart.
Great writer. Great writer.
Producer. I mean, he's just
Brilliant guy.
A Renaissance man, or whatever that phrase is. I love me some Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Happy birthday, Cap. And 22 years ago to this day, Michael Jordan played his last game on the NBA with the Wizards. They lost to Philadelphia. He had 15 points, had a dunk in that game. It was his last game of the year. I mean, last
then
game
he
of
was
his career.
kicked
Now,
out of the Wizards' home like he was yesterday's garbage.
Yeah. But you know what he did for 2 years? He never missed a game. He played all 82 games.
He always plays.
It's pretty phenomenal. All right, well, that's all I got. You guys, as always, were amazing. We did a good job, I thought, on the NBA. I've got some notes. I took all the comments that are made by you
Hold
guys.
us accountable, Charles.
I'll hold it against you later. It was a wonderful show. I appreciate everybody's contribution. Andrew, thank you again for contributing, showing up. We appreciate that. Thanks to all the fans that tuned in. I'm sorry we didn't shout out, everybody because I was talking too much. But we appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next Wednesday. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. I know Larry will.
No doubt.